Folks, David here on the Vintage Future once again, and today I just want to give you a quick review on these Wesco Mister Lou boots. By the time you see this video, these will be long gone. I'm moving them on. I'll get into the reasons why in just a little bit here, but for now let's hit the main specs, what I see as the positives, and then we'll talk about why I'm moving them on, some areas that maybe the design could be improved, or maybe they're just not right for me. Anyways, okay, so first of all, this is a Wesco Mister Lou on the MP1339 last. It's a size 10E, I believe, which they say fits like a D, but let's just call them a 10D. Some people say that the E fits like a D. Other people say it's totally true to size as far as the width. There's kind of an argument about that on the internet, but let's just call them a 10D. And that's a half down from my Brannock. It's brown Horween CXL. And you can see the brass roller buckles at the top of the shaft and across the instep. It's got the triple row stitching on the upper, right? And then the double row stitch down construction right here. The main difference between these and a standard one would be my friend Ian actually resold these to a Dr. Soul Super Grip half sole. And then it's got the Quabag heel cap. Other than that, this is a representation of what your standard Wesco Mister Lou would look like. So yeah, overall pretty nice boot. It's got pretty good clicking on the vamp area. Like look at this one, and then if you look at this one's even nicer. Especially for a boot at this quality level. That's pretty good clicking for something like Wesco. The shafts, however, if you look at the shafts, it's a lot more coarse. They did not cut the best part of the hide for these shafts. You know, is that horrible? No. I mean, it's a Wesco. You know, you don't need to knock Wesco for being Wesco. I don't see that as like a defect. I just see it as they're a work boot company, right? They're not a style company. Sure, a lot of us want to wear them for style, but that is not their purpose. You know, so while I think it's worth pointing out that they could do a much nicer job, you know, here's my Flame Panda boots. Like if you look at this stitching right here and how fine that is compared to this stitching, right? Or, you know, you look at this double row welt and just how fine that is compared to how coarse this is, right? Or here's the stitching on the facing here, the quarter, compared to, you know, this, which is a lower SPI. You know, or just even looking at this shelf in here, this right here, you know, it could have been trimmed much closer. There's a lot of things like that, whereas, you know, something like this, it's trimmed like right up to the edge of the leather. You know, it goes to show, like, could this be improved? Like, of course, the craftsmanship level could be taken up a few notches if they wanted to, but why would they do that? This is a work boot company. It's kind of part of the aesthetic, the ruggedness of it, the coarseness of it, the fact that everything is like big and beefy and, you know, a little bit oversized and kind of feels overbuilt, right? That's kind of the idea, right? And so I don't know that you would want to change that, but I'm just pointing it out so that you know what to expect. This is kind of, I think, what you could expect from Wesco. Pretty good clicking, pretty good leather, pretty good materials and all that good stuff, but it's not the top of the line. But I think you should be interested in Wesco because overall the package that they are providing is great. I mean, for their price level, their price point, I mean, this is a great way to get into engineer boots. And honestly, this is as much engineer boot as probably anyone really needs. Like, you could buy a Wesco, and as long as you like the look and the fit is there, I mean, it could be your only engineer boot, and it's going to play the part so well. Like, you are not by any means buying some kind of like cheap product when you buy a Wesco. I think it's a great way to go. Now, other than like maybe an Indonesian boot company, I don't know if you're going to find better value. You know, that's probably arguable, but I don't know if you're going to find better value. It's a great boot. But that brings us down to why am I moving these on? It's two things in regards to fit. Okay, so one thing is, well, okay, three things actually. One, with my low instep, it's just a bit of a sloppy fit. You know, I can't quite get this tight enough at my instep, but that's not really their fault. That's just my particular foot. One thing that I think is objective though, this heel cup back here has virtually no shape. All this right here. And so I have a ton of heel slip. There's nothing like, you know, like cupping the back of your foot. It's basically just straight up and down inside there. I don't know if everyone would agree and say they have the same experience, but for me, it just did not grip my heels at all. So I think that's something that they could probably work on. And you can see it here. There's just not much of a cup to that at all. So that's not great, but hey, you know, you could probably learn to live with that, or maybe it's not going to affect everyone the way it affected me because everyone's got a different heel shape. But I find it to be kind of a shapeless, formless heel that doesn't really help the fit, you know. Maybe it doesn't hurt the fit, but it doesn't help the fit. And then the other thing is this shape here. So a big thing with me, if you watch my videos, is I'm often very concerned about what this is doing here, where your big toe is. And with these, I don't love how they dive in a little bit. It pushes in on your big toe. I'll grab the other boot here. Yeah, it pushes in on your big toe, and that's not good for your feet, first of all. And second of all, I find it very annoying. It just kind of irritates me. It's not comfortable. It's always pushing in on my big toe. That's how you form bunions. It's, you know, any boot or shoe that's pushing in on your big toe here because it's curving in too quickly, or pushing in on your little toe here. I mean, that's how you're going to end up with bunions at the balls of your feet. You know, so you really don't want that. This is really common with ladies with their heels. They have those like pointy-toed heels that they wear sometimes. But it can also be true of men who wear narrow footwear. A lot of dress shoes can be like that. Cowboy boots sometimes. And yeah, so I don't like how this is. I much prefer my clinch and my roll clubs where it more or less goes straight forward here and then curves. In fact, this Flame Panda boot that I was showing you a second ago is a great example of this. Like, see how this last, come on, cooperate please. It kind of goes straight forward and then it begins to curve up here. Not perfectly straightforward, but it's enough, you know. Sometimes you have to try it to be able to really tell, you know. But this one I know is super comfortable. It's not really pushing in on my toes. Whereas these Wescos, they really did. And so for that reason, I'm moving them on. Just can never get a good fit, and I don't want to damage my feet. But yeah, if they do fit you though, maybe you already messed up your toes, or maybe your foot shape is just different than mine, and your toes don't want to go straight forward. They're already kind of bending inward a little bit or something. Whatever the case might be, if they do fit you well, and you like the look and all that, I don't think you could go wrong getting a Wesco. So, you know, maybe think about them, give them a try. And that is my impression of the Wesco Mister Lou. Until next time, let your boots take you to places more important than the boots themselves.